Okay. So, good evening, everyone. Thank you all for joining us to the evening where we are celebrating the 6th anniversary CNE series. Welcome to week 4. Today, we have two interesting case studies. I would give the intro for the first case now, and we will proceed to the second one later. So, the first case is going to be presented by Sandhya, and it's a very interesting case where it's a woman with mild hypertension and prolonged abdominal uterine bleeding, and how that was addressed. It was a suffering of years long of suffering, and how this was addressed with a comprehensive lifestyle techniques is what we are going to hear today from dear Sandhya. So stay tuned. Make a note of the things that you go through, something interesting, something provoking, something which no sparks your thought, and then write down your questions. We'll take the Q&A later, but I want all of you to be there with both the cases. So thank you all for joining us again. Over to you, Sandhya.
Thank you, Jyoti. Thank you so much. This case is really indeed a close, case which was, I was little skeptical on taking it because I know nothing about, reversing the fibroids or reversing these conditions. But since I've handled my client's husband, so that has given me confidence to, take the case. So shall I share the slides?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Is my screen full?
Yeah.
Okay. So restoring the feminine rhythm by breaking the mold. Okay. So basically, this case is about overcoming the rejection that my client has faced from her own femininity. Okay. So the picture. One second. So the picture seemed to be fully, completely happy from the outside, but from inner side, she was shredded off. She was, unhappy for years together, and she could face lot of depressive thoughts from her own rejection. So the external facts which made her look happy was her background, where she came from a business background, and she was born with a silver spoon, and she was married to a well-settled guy with two beautiful kids. Everything seemed to be good, but from internal, aspects, she was broken apart. So for years together, being a single child and brought into, a well-settled family, and she was brought up between brothers of almost some 8 to 9 brothers, and being a only women, girl child, she was pampered a lot. And in this process, she adapted the masculine, adventurous things, masculine nature, and she would never accept her own feminine processes. So once she attained a menarche, for few months she was okay. Like, she did not question herself, but almost the process started, and the problems also started simultaneously. So this rejection, the body received it very deeply. So the body kept the score, and this rejection has deeply, deeply affected her own processes. So this affected her reproductive system, this affected her structural system, cardiovascular system, and also the neurological system, which resulted in uterine fibroids, irregular menstrual periods, and she was diagnosed on a very early stage with mild hypertension and chronic restlessness, which eventually dealt to depressiveness. So this was the scan report, which initially she showed it to me. And when initially I was speaking to her husband on and off, and I know some part of the story because the husband keeps always telling about some part of his stress was from wife. So I could always see it from a different angle, but not from this angle, unless and until I deeply dealt with the client. I dealt with her as a client. So once when I heard her own story, then I understood it was not her fault at all. It was completely the, rejection, the process in which she was showing herself as, a suppressive and deleted candidate. All these things she was not accepting. So this clearly showed it was a very huge fibroid. Initially, it was not diagnosed for almost 2 years, but before she was diagnosed with uterine fibroids, she she was almost dealing with her blood pressure, hypertension, and she was already started with a mild dose of Telma 5 mg also. So it was almost 1 year she took this tablet, and she's done with that. So the refusal of the prescription, so she made a very definitive refusal to depend on medication for the remainder of her life. So wherever she goes, whether it could be her, friend circle or family gatherings, everybody pulled her leg. Like, they used to taunt her, like, you are so young and you are on these pills and you are treating your hypertension, and no wonder if you get your heart attack very soon. So this actually pulled her down. So this was actually eating her inside, and slowly almost she delayed the part which was on menstrual cycle. So she could not speak to anybody, because being a masculine thought process, being into that thought process, she thought, discussing her own drawbacks or discussing her own loopholes or challenges would make her more down. So she was always happy from outside. She should show that, rejoice and solace in hanging over with the cousins and going, but somewhere deep inside she was eating her own process. So this led, and after I took a very deep history. So this history was not at all like a history. In my entire career, this was a history where I took in one coffee shop. So we spent almost from 10 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the evening. So it was, luckily it was summer. My kids were not around, and her kids were also not around. So we spent this 10 to 8 hours in one coffee shop. And after next day also, we spent some time. And, more than a history taking, the coffee shop was understanding our each other. Because as I told, I know the client's husband, and she was little not confident of knowing her own weak points and sharing it with the husband. So she was little insecure, and even I was little insecure, because uh, will I be able to hand the same family members? Because one way it is positive, I can actually have a check with the other person what the client is doing, whether they're following it or not. And the same side, somewhere deep inside me, I have to be confidential also. So that was my own check, to be confidential and not to cross each other's information. So after deep history, so beneath the symptoms, there I understood there laid an unearthing the roots of disease. So this was childhood envy of masculine freedom. So every time she used to get periods, she used to tell for herself, oh, it would be good if this month, my periods don't come. And it would be more good that this time the periods don't come for next 5 months, 2 months, or even 1 year also. She always kept repeating this. And all of a sudden, the subconscious brain, the subconscious memory completely grasped it. And after a few years, once she got married and she got kids, the actual process began. So, fibroids growth, the childhood envy of masculine freedom, and mild hypertension, which is the result of suppression of emotions. So, it was not because of the diet, it was not because of overweight, it was completely because of suppressed emotions. So, this resulted in pressure inside, and this pressure emphasized the parasympathetic nervous system to have a vasoconstriction on the lateral walls, and this has led to the hypertension part to develop at a very early stage. I think she was 34 when I met her. So at 34, she was already on Telma 5 mg. And irregular cycle, of course, initially when she got this irregular cycle, she used to get for almost 30 days or 26 days, her cycle was continuing. And family members told her this was absolutely normal. So sometimes it happens with the female bodies, and it is normal. And no matter however she faced, she did not take a step to meet a gynae or any physician and talk about it. So she kept delaying on that, and she was taking pills, popping pills for BP. Everything was good. And one day, when she could not stand the bleeding and when her hemoglobin came down, then she opened. She was deep, shred apart. And then she met a doctor, and doctor advised her for a scan. And then she came to know it was fibroids, which have grown big in size. So this was the stage where the gynecologist gave her so many tablets again. So these tablets, which were again a big rejection for her, she was not able to take. Seeing the progress of her husband, she one day made an attempt to call me, and we just proceeded meeting outside. And this all, process is the rest of the process. And what happened actually, I'll tell you, when she actually told me that she want this coaching for 3 months for the fibroid part. And I was little skeptical because I never dealt fibroids. PCOS and all this was okay for me, my cup of coffee. But fibroids, I know it takes a lot of time for the fibroids, but somewhere I was a little skeptical. But when I started taking history, when I met her on the first day to know each other, she then told me about the BP, and then that made me easy to take the case because I know I can handle hypertension very easily, and that process continued. So when she told me one clear thing, so don't handle my BP, ma'am. So I'll take medicines, but only just reverse my fibroids. This was her condition. More than a condition, this was her concern. So I told, okay, as she wishes, let it be. But during the process, whatever the interventions I did, whether it would be in diet, emotional, or physical, everything I connected with the hypertensive part, because the hypertension was not because of her overweight or her eating habits. It was completely because of the internalized inflammation and the stress part, which was, in emotional instability. So without her knowledge, I kept working on her hypertensive part also. So a multi-modal intervention targeting three distinct pillars. One was the biochemical and the physiological and the energetic, which included the emotional and feminine healing. So these three were my core areas to work upon. Okay, I think the acceptance part. So initially, when I gave her a diet plan, which was a basic diet plan to just get her back to her new regime of diet, nothing worked out. Nothing happened in that 1 month. She didn't even adapt to small changes of having a warm water in the morning or a brisk walking. She did not adapt at all. So one day again we met outside. I was insisting her. So on the call, we could not share we could not share the energies properly, and I could not convince her to follow the interventions. So I made it a point to meet her, and that actually had an effect. So she agreed. Then I asked her to leave all the dietary part aside and focus her only on holistic tools. So this was the hero tool which I gave to her of acceptance. So I told her to accept her own body as a small baby. So when she was giving me history, she was very, very, what is it, gentle. She was good enough to share the deepest roots of her sorrow and everything. So one day she told me when she had this, common trip from a school, she got a periods, and it was like a big challenge for her to get pads in that surrounding area. And this information spread to the other sections also, it seems. And she was so depressed that she called to her parents, and from the trip she came back on that day itself. She could not stand this information spreading to everybody that she got a period. So she could not stand that. So she came back, and from that day she constantly kept repeating, I should not have periods. Completely my periods should stop, and I have to enjoy the freedom like boys do. and I have to have healthy babies even without periods also. So this was her subconscious training. This was her pattern that she developed. But luckily, she got married and she had beautiful kids without any gynec complications, no pregnancy complications. But the actual story began after her pregnancy. She almost had 26 days periods, and for every 15 days she used to get the periods. So this acceptance part worked really like a hero tool. So this has an impact on the nervous system, which made the shift from chronic stress to a free bird, to a calmer and a more consoled soul. And the stress hormones such as cortisol gradually decreased, allowing the body to heal effectively. Sleep often improves because, see, when she was in this masculine phase, she was enjoying her freedom even till late nights also. She was indulging herself watching these reels, and she used to compromise on her sleep. So compromising on the sleep affected on compromising on the gut also. So she used to have improper food, improper bowel habits, everything, and this finally led her to malnutrition. And emotional triggers lose their intensity. So acceptance has this greatest effect on this emotional part, where the triggers gradually become erased, because subconscious brain is something which is very very strong. Once you think that you have lost the old pattern, but one trigger of that old pattern comes in front of you, the whole picture repeats again. But in her case also this happened. If she meets her cousins, she used to again worry that cousins are enjoying their freedom, but being a female she is restricted to some parts. So again this depressive thoughts started rising in her own uh, processes. But I never let her stop this acceptance part. Almost it was 9 months in the whole coaching process. I asked her to maintain a book and she kept writing. Almost, I think, 5 to 6 books she completed writing this acceptance part. So self worth begins to replace self rejection, allowing healthier relationships. So she rejected her own self, which the body could not take it. But body was very gentle that it could not show immediate results. Later it showed, where she has to learn a lesson and accept the changes. Women often reconnect with their feminine qualities, compassion, intuition, creativity. Creativity was a greater gift for her from this acceptance, and I'll tell you in my future slides how this related to this. Confidence and emotional balance. So all these were seen in her over a period of time, which was almost 9 to 10 months. And these were some of the changes that I made in order to take care of the reflection parts on the respective organs or the organ systems. So wheat grass, which was another key hero factor, which changed the entire scenario of her own body. From a completely acidic body, she have shifted herself to an alkaline body. So her body was completely into acidic stage because of the inflammation. So this wheat grass, which is the world's best as this alkaline food, it has completely changed. For almost 1 month, as I earlier mentioned, she could not accept the wheatgrass taste or the texture, all this. But eventually, when she started taking it and seeing the results, she actually loved the wheatgrass texture and and the smell and even the taste. So once earlier she used the wheatgrass which was completely on the soil grown. But once we made a shift of the wheatgrass which was completely hydroponic, she liked the taste. So wheatgrass is the key nutritional factor which made the changes in our own body. And the seed cycling part, though the seed cycling had a good effect, but it was not consistent. She could not take the seed cycling part not more than for 2 months or 3 months. And dairy sugars, all these were cut off from her food intake, and elimination of the this elimination was done, and the main focus was on vegetable juices. So these vegetable juices, I made her to drink these vegetable juices before the bed for a purpose. And the screen detox was done. So I made her understood. how the screen time is eating away her own sleep time. So this what do you say, the compromised sleep was affecting her own body and growth. So the womb meditation, and womb meditation is the new thing that even I learned through this case. Before that, I was not aware of this womb meditation, but I have done a lot of work on this womb meditation, and I have advised her as an main interventional part and inner child work with a mirror work. So womb meditation, mirror work were jointly having a mutual effect on her own nervous system. So this was Jyoti, is my screen full screen?
Yeah, go on, sir.
Okay. So these were the main changes. I did not change much of a dietary part because I know almost all the in food patterns were almost near to balanced diet only. But to the fact that she could not take much of her alkaline food, that I got replaced, and I made her completely avoid the dairy part. Okay. So after she followed this religiously for almost 9 to 10 months, she could see the changes in her. The cycle, which was almost for 26 days, gradually began to come for 15 days. Now she had a periods twice in a month, and that eventually started for 28 days, which she had only once in a month. So for every 15 days she used to have, and after 10 months, she got her first cycle when she got it for 28 days actually. So once in a month, when she got this first cycle, she was almost on cloud nine, because for all these years she used to see her own body almost in this periods only, which made her away from family uh, meetings, gatherings, pujas, and rituals, and all these temple visits, everything. Because we know, like in our families, during the cycles, we are not allowed to go into the temples and involve in some rituals, all this. So she was actually depressed for that part also. But once she got this cycle for her 28 days on the first month, she was on cloud nine. She actually cried. She broke with the deep, uh, what do you say, happiness that she told me, and she immediately told me, "Madam, after 28 days, I did not get any periods. I did not get any, even I could not see spotting also." And next month, she was eagerly waiting whether it would come for 15 days or it would come for 28 days. And every day she would mark on her calendar. But thankfully, she got next period also for the next 28th day only. So this actually made me happy. So even I worked on myself on this womb healing part, so that even I understand it in and out. So this part was my learning, and whatever she learned was her learning. So she accepted her own body with love, grace. Emotional healing blossomed, revealing new found sense of joy and inner balance. So these changes actually helped her understand that feminine body is made for some purpose, and she has to accept, no matter how and to what family she's born, how she's brought up. She understood this part in a very deep sense, and these were some measurable changes which could be noticeably seen. And clinical cardiovascular, her BP, without her intent, without her knowledge, whenever she used to go for checkup, her BP always stood 120 by 80. As earlier it was more than 140, so it was 120 by 80, and this was another point for her to become more happy. And gradually, after 2.5 months, her own physician asked her to stop telma. And this physical reproductive system, irregular cycles which were seen, consistent 20-year cycle persistent for so many months again. And emotional and physiological, joy, inner balance, and acceptance profoundly were seen in her own processes. So she started writing more. You know, uh, Apart from writing on the acceptance journal, she actually started writing everything. So she used to write a diary, maintain a diary of her own, day to day basis. like what she have done that day, what is the trigger point that made her happy, what is the trigger point that made her come down or sometimes be low. Everything she started, and that actually made her a habit to maintain a diary apart from acceptance journaling. And actually this has a dual effect on husband also, because husband was more happy looking at the transformation of the wife, because he used to take some part of the stress from the wife as well, because wife was always nudging on husband, because she couldn't show anger, and husband was the soft target for her. And these were some of this mind body continuum continued. So this continuation, which was interdependent, like energetic acceptance and physiological repair, both were interdependent, and it was a continuous continuum. So the final takeover was the body listens to every emotion, the mind refuses to acknowledge. So this was my greatest understanding from this. And journaling gives your emotions a voice, and acceptance gives your body permission to heal. So this was it. And I'll share you her testimony also. Jyoti, I don't know why I'm not able to play the play button.
Okay. Share the video, Sandhya. We will
Yeah,
do it
I'll share. I'll share.
for the second presentation. But you can stop the share for now. So thank you, Sandhya. That was an amazing presentation. Imagine a woman going through a cycle of 28 days, but out of 28 days, 26 days she's bleeding.
Yeah.
That pain was, unimaginable for any women who goes through this process every single month, and that too over the years of 20, 2 decades of suffering was reversed. It's like a great story, and it should become an inspiration for many women who are being a silent sufferers. So let's take this ahead and as a learning to bring up more change among the people who need it. Congratulations, Sandhya, on this note.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And so I'll welcome the second case study presentation for today's evening. We'll continue the discussion post the second presentation, guys. Stay on, stay tuned, and keep your questions ready, but we'll take them up all together. So I introduce you all Revati Prasad, and she's going to present a very, very interesting case study of a senior citizen who is 61-year-old and who has a relentless suffering of chronic constipation. And imagine a person not able to swallow food for 6 long years. And how she established the interlink between this 30 years of chronic constipation and 6 years of not able to swallow the food. Let her unfold through her presentation. Over to you, Revati.
Thank you so much, Jyoti, for the kind introduction. And good evening, all. First of all, thank you so much for the opportunity. And I take this moment to thank our Suresh sir for the knowledge that he has been imparting continuously since last 6 years through HNTP. And today's case, Achalasia Cardia, I've not even heard about in my 18 years of nutrition practice, and I've never even imagined that I will be handling such a case. So first I'll share my slides. Just let me know whether it is so. So hope my screen is full screen. I mean the slides are full screen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go on.
Yeah. So This is my client story. She is a 61-year-old female. She came to me saying that, ma'am, I'm not able to swallow food. And when she said that, I literally took that, I thought there is some problem within her throat, somewhere she's not able to swallow. But the problem is not exactly the swallowing, but it was something else when we started doing the history taking. So she came to me saying that she's not able to, the food is not entering the stomach. So as we started progressing with the history taking, then I understood it is not only the swallowing problem, it is actually the problem where the food is not entering the stomach. It is just staying in the food pipe itself. So she came to me with this history since 6 years. And imagine she used to sleep in the sitting position. And to the worst case, even though she's sleeping, suddenly she will get that aspiration. The food particles literally come out through her nose. It starts just, just flowing out. And either it will be through the nose or through the mouth. And the worst part is sometimes it becomes even frothy. The food doesn't even enter the stomach. It stays for hours together in the food pipe itself. And this is her condition when she came to me. She said, like, it's been 6 years. I lie down and I slept. And so moving little bit forward, taking more history, then I understood. I was just asking her, how is her appetite? No, these are all the basic questions we asked. Then I asked her, how is her satiety feeling? And more importantly, I asked her, so I was little bit skeptical since the food is not entering. Probably the bowel movement should be at risk. So I was asking her, how is your bowel? Then to my shocking surprise, she said, since 33 years, she's using enema to, clear her bowel. Okay. So that was even more shocking. So she came to me with two major complaints. One, the food is not entering her stomach. And second thing, she's not able to clear her bowel without the help of enema. And apart from that, she had also a problem, that is the numbness that was happening continuously in her left thigh. And she was also complaining about the pain which she was having in the tailbone. So with these, she came to me, and she's a teacher. She's been retired, and she's been married, and she's having one daughter. And her husband also is a teacher. In fact, he worked as an HM. And she comes from a village background. She was born and brought up in village. Now she's staying with a daughter in the city, but she's basically from a village background. Now let's understand a little deeper about the client. Now, her major complaints when we started analyzing, it is not just a simple physiological problem which I was able to sense. It was something else that was concerning her. More was concerning with the nervous system, to be very precise, with the enteric nervous system. So we all know that the digestive tract has its own nervous system, which is the enteric nervous system. So the enteric nervous system is the one that actually is responsible for the complete digestion, absorption, the secretion of the enzymes, motility, peristalsis, whatever it is. So there was some problem in the signaling where the enteric nervous system is not able to communicate properly to the brain and vice versa. So when I started little more understanding the client, so she had a lot of issues. First thing, she is the only girl child in her family, and she has 8 brothers, and she is the youngest, and she's the only daughter. Unfortunately, she lost her father at the age of 2 or 3 years. She don't even remember that. So mother became the pillar of support. Mother was very, very specific that her daughter need to get educated. So she made sure that her daughter continued her education no matter what. So the point is now, uh, the mother whom she thought that she is going to be there with her throughout, there were certain situations where uh, slowly her brothers were getting married, and they were all not in the same village. They were like nearby places. They were not residing together. So the mother started moving to those brothers' house who were not married because they were in need of the mother's help. So slowly each brother got married, the sister-in-laws were stepping in, and the mother started stepping out because she has to support the other sons. Now is the real challenge. Since because she was continuing her education, her mother doesn't want her to discontinue her education, keep having the breaks. So she said, "You have to stay in this brother's house. You have to continue your studies." So and the mother left. This girl was left with the brother and the sister-in-laws. So the challenge here is she was very young, like 10 years, 12 years, and there were so many challenges for this as a for her as a very little child. She don't know how to wash her hair. She don't know how to wash her clothes, and days were there where she used to leave house without even breakfast and lunch because the sister-in-laws were not cooking so early. So she used to come back home, and then she used to eat her first meal of the day. So this was going on, and she even now she says like she doesn't have that kind of a emotional bonding with any of her brother. When I asked her, she herself doesn't know why she didn't develop the connection. She's not aware of that. And she was also holding a lot of disappointment with her mother, with the sister-in-laws. Why my mother left me like this? I would have got a better life. She left me and she prioritized my brothers rather than me. Since I am the only daughter, only girl child, she could have stayed with me. So these things were there. And to add fuel to the fire, in our village, there is no toilet. So now she has to wait till the darkness settle. Either she has to clear her bowel in the early days, I mean early morning hours before the sunrise, or she has to wait till it becomes really dark, till late night. She has to wait cold and then she has to pass on her bowel. So now moving forward, what has happened is slowly she started suppressing the urge. Okay. And I'm not talking about like ages back, just before COVID, her villagers started building toilets just before COVID. I mean, like just 5 years back. Even now in 2026, there are so many houses, they don't have toilets yet. Though they have the bathroom, they don't have the toilets. Even now, the women are suffering over there. And I was really shattered. I became very emotional. Imagine a woman unable to pass her bowel. And I was like even thinking about like how she was managing her menstrual phase. So all these things were like slowly adding up. And when she came for the first time, I never expected. She came with her daughter. Her daughter was thinking she had some issue with the brother, but when she opened up all these things and she started crying, her daughter was so much shocked and surprised. So then she realized her mother is still being there in her childhood days, where she is missing her mother still, and she has got a lot of disappointment with her sister-in-laws. So all these things were happening, and with all this stress continuously going on, over a period of time, the nervous system actually couldn't work to its best. Okay, the signal is been happening to the brain, but the brain sends a signal back, the urges, but the urges were always suppressed. So eventually, the brain lost the interest and it stopped giving that urges as well. So now only if she decides that she has to clear the bowel, then she uses enema. So probably 3 to 4 days in a week she uses enema and clear the bowel. And that too, she says like I don't have any kind of that satisfaction of clearing my bowel. So now here I would like to little bit connect with the flow of a river. So we all know that the digestive tract is a one single tube which starts from the mouth and ends in the anus, right? So imagine if one part of the river is being affected, can we uh, say that the remaining part of the river will not be affected? There is no guarantee, right? Obviously, the remaining part of the river will get slowly affected on a long term. So similarly, this was happening. I'm not claiming it as a proven thing, but I feel like uh, at least like an hypothesis we can just consider when one part of the digestive tract was continuously suppressed, the enteric nervous system slowly started losing its power over the digestive tract, and eventually she started having the problem in terms of pushing the food into the stomach. So basically, this condition, the Achalasia Cardia, is a condition where the LES, that is the lower esophageal sphincter, doesn't relax. It has become so stiff so that the food doesn't enter the stomach. And this client, every time she eats, she has to have at least, like, 2 to 3 glasses of warm liquids so that she is able to push the food inside. Even then, the food was struggling to get inside the stomach. And this was not happening just few weeks or few months. It's been happening for years together. But probably the constipation was the first thing, but she didn't address it. She didn't give that importance, and eventually that started moving up, and even the esophagus, the sphincter was getting affected. Now I would like to share some of the few questions which I was giving my client for reflection, and it happened to be really, really impactful and powerful. So I was just trying to balance her perception. So first thing, I was asking about how she feels for her mother. She says like, I definitely love, I respect her, but still, I was holding certain things. She could have taken care of me better. So then I asked her, which life would have been better? A woman who's sitting in front of me as an educated and as a teacher, or a woman who became illiterate, okay, just couldn't tolerate a temporary away from the mother. Then she realized, no, I cannot even imagine not being a teacher. Then I asked her, now start giving gratitude to your mother. She made this possible for you, and that is the reason you were able to raise your daughter as per your wish. Okay. And she also had one more very important thing is none of the decisions were considered in her house because she is the youngest. So she was always being unheard. She was always being not even asked for any suggestions. So she always had these things of, can you please mute yourself, Mohini, please? So this was happening. So that was also there. Now, after she was able to do her double degree in mathematics, she's a maths teacher. And then now she was able to at least have her voice in her own house, at least with her husband, with her daughter. So she was okay with it. So I just made that dots connected. And coming back to the sister-in-laws, where she was like, they never cooked food for me. They used to make me feel hungry, all those things. Then I asked her what were their age when they got married. She said like they were like just 16, 17 years. Probably they were like, little very few years elder to her. Then I asked her, imagine at the age of close to their age, you are going to the school, you are pursuing your education, but they were given a lot of pressure to take care of the household. They were cooking, they were washing, and they were doing. I mean, it's a big family, right? So they used to cook for. She herself said that they used to be in the kitchen forever, like from the morning till the evening. So I was asking, and now imagine, I'm asking you one simple question: which is having more advantage, you being a daughter in that family, or being a daughter-in-law in such a family, which is more blissful and blessing? Then she realized. First time ever, she felt like I never thought from this angle, and slowly that kind of complaint became a compassion towards her sister-in-law. And eventually, we were even discussing about something else. Something happened just couple of years back in her life. There was a financial challenge. She being a teacher, one of her relatives' son came to her saying that I'm going to build a school in this village because it is very essential that every kid has to get education. So she was moved by the intention and she invested some amount, and not restricting with herself. She also introduced few of the family members and the friends to him. But eventually, almost 80 to 90% of the school construction got over. But suddenly they came to know that the school building was built on a land which belongs to the temple. Now suddenly everything stopped, and eventually what has happened is the family and friends whoever invested, they started questioning my client because she was the one who recommended. So she was holding a lot of things. She was saying like, I don't know how I'm going to pay back their money because it's a huge amount. I cannot do that. She was taking a lot of guilt. She don't know how to let go of. Even that was also adding fuel to the fire with the for the constipation. She was not able to, eat the food. We say, right, I'm not even able to eat with all these things in my mind. So this was also adding fuel to the fire. Then I told her, you introduced them. Did you literally put pressure on them to invest, or was their decision? Then she understood, no, that was not my thing. They made the decision. Then I told her, see, if that is the case, their decision cannot come under your responsibility. It is their responsibility. Okay. And then I started giving her some affirmation, and I started giving her um, to bless the money, whatever is being already into a building. I asked her to do the blessings and all. So she started feeling better. So now, very importantly, I asked her, what made you decide to invest on that um school project? Because since childhood, she was not being heard. She never, her decision were not being taken into account. So somewhere she wanted to prove herself. Unknowingly, that kind of a vibration that she wanted to prove eventually attracted a wrong um, person into her life, and she couldn't do that. That was actually killing her more than the investment, whatever it is. So when it comes to nutrition, I was completely focusing on how to make the enteric nervous system work better. So the following nutrients were more involved in making those ENS work properly. And also, she came to me with the blood report, which had the inflammatory markers little high, and vitamin D was low, B12 was low. So all these things were taken care of. And then the emotion, mind, body thing, what we started is like we started with inner child healing, because as a child she was still feeling left alone. So we did that inner child healing with the help of a video. And then I started helping her to balance the perception. Then we started with gratitude. Then we started with affirmation. So all these things every day it became a ritual. So within first 2 months, she came back and said that she was able to swallow food. At least there was no that kind of aspiration coming every single night. So that was a big breakthrough, because 6 years she never had any night without that aspiration happening. And I still remember he called me and said, first time she slept without any aspiration. First day, that night she immediately called up the next day morning. Then I was able to understand how what kind of relief she would have experienced. So these were done, and eventually this was the outcome. So eventually now she is having aspiration, but not with the food particles. Some kind of fluids do come, but maybe weekly once, not exactly like how she was suffering. And she was able to sleep by lying down. That was the biggest achievement for her, and she was very happy to do that. And very importantly, she started experiencing the urge to go clear the bowel, even though she's still on enema. But after 33 long years, she's feeling something very new kind of a signal. She's saying like, you know what, I had that urge, but I couldn't do it without enema. That was her, observation, and she was like, letting me know. Then I said, that is a very good improvement. Your nervous system is getting activated. Don't worry, we will definitely make you enema free, and you will have your natural bowel movements. She's still with me. Her two more sessions are still pending. And so this is what the physical outcome and the emotional outcome. She's not the same person who came to me in the beginning, and now she knows how to balance a perspective. Nowadays, she come with the complaint, and she herself will say like, okay, I'm seeing this situation this way, so probably I can even see this same situation in another way also. And she also say the same the another way as well. So that's how she has evolved. So as a coach, we always believe that making the person independent and making the person responsible for whatever they are, like, because we cannot be with them for 24 by 7 rest of the years, but we have to give them that kind of a confidence, and that kind of a sustaining practice that has to get just gelled into their life, and it should become inseparable. So that is what it is. And this is the story of that 61-year-old female, and she is definitely evolving every single day. Two more sessions to go, and I definitely have the confidence that she will be able to get out of the enema. And so this is what I wanted to share with all of you. So thank you so much for listening to me. Yes.
Wow, that was a wonderful case study. Imagine 5 decades of what we have given to the body. The body kept on listening, and that's what it has become eventually. And how, when we change the perceptions of how we look at things, can change how the body functions. Beautiful presentation, Revati. Just loved it. So, that's the two beautiful case studies that we have. We will listen to Sanjay's feedback, just go through that. And then the session is open for Q&A. You all can come up with your questions or queries or appreciations or share your experiences. Most welcome for all these things. Sandhya, would you like to share? Okay, till then, when she's ready, we are open for discussion, guys.
Ma'am, good evening, ma'am.
Good
Good
evening.
evening. Yeah. Ma'am, I want to know that the second case study, that 61 years old lady, she was undergoing the tailbone issue. And what was the solution for that? I want to know
Uh,
about that because I'm undergoing with that problem, the tailbone issue. So, did she recover from it after this constipation problem?
okay, so Raji, to answer your question, first thing she was having two things. One is tailbone pain and the numbness and the pain. Some discomfort was happening in her thighs. So basically, first, what we need to understand
Okay.
is whatever she was eating, she wasn't able to digest, process, absorb. So basically, she was having a lot of deficiencies. Okay. When you are not going to provide the body the
Okay.
raw
Okay.
material, obviously, what happens is the system becomes weak. Okay. And your tailbone issue and her tailbone issue need not be the same. Okay. So here what happened is when I started with vitamin D, just within 2 weeks of time, she came back. She used to come to my clinic. So she came back and said, suddenly I am able to see that almost 70 to 80% of the issue is sorted out. Now I understand probably it was because of vitamin D. Okay. Because throughout the 3 month program, her complaints towards diet was like I can say 60 to 70%. I still need to educate her. I still need to make her understand the power of the nutrients. Okay. Whatever she was able to do, she is doing it. I'm just motivating with whatever things because she's 61-year-old, and we all know how what kind of a mindset, what kind of a conditioning with which they come. Even now, she's not prioritizing her. Now she's more concerned about daughter's kids. So this is what is happening. So coming back to your question, she had a lot of deficiencies because both the input and the output was in trouble. Okay, so we cannot compare your tailbone issue with the client's.
Okay. Okay. I understand, ma'am. I completely understood. Mm.
Right.
Can I
Oh,
share, Jyoti?
yeah, please.
Are you able to hear a voice?
No, actually, it is muted at the end. Click on the video icon, speaker, and on to the right. Yeah, and put it to full screen.
I guess you have to check the box of sharing the sound also, Sandhya.
When you share the screen, you have to share the sound.
Oh, One second.
Now you have to close the share, Sandhya. Close the share and reshare. While resharing, check the sound box. Share the sound.
Sure, sure.
So to add on to the point which Revati has said, Raji, in holistic approach, one solution never fit in every single one who is there with the same problem, because we are not reading the symptoms or disease here. We are studying the person, and the person is unique and different, and it cannot replicate. The same change could no bring up the result in the other person. So it's purely we need to understand the story behind. Um, the cause of the cause, and then we can work on it. That's where we can bring up the changes. So yeah, um, any more questions or any more appreciations? Come on, guys, let's cheer up our speakers for today. Any profound learnings?
Revati, will I share it with you? Will you do the needful for me?
Yes, Sandhya, please do.
Yeah, I've just shared it to your WhatsApp.
Yes.
Okay, let me add to the question by Raji. So tailbone issue, I mean, like as Jyoti ma'am said, we are not seeing the issue over here. We are seeing the person, right? If you look into the different, what do you say, kinds of nutrition the person is having, it has got a lot of holding. I mean, if you look into our spiritual nutrition, it represents the Muladhara chakra, and everything is connected over there. And the sacral plexus, they are getting affected, and all these things. So yeah, again, you cannot pinpoint. And Achalasia Cardia, usually what we doctors do is there is a surgical procedure called POEM, POEM,
After the
uh,
The
peroral,
esophageal
peroral esophageal myotomy. I
esophageal
mean, like they cut open the inner lining of the
myopathy.
muzzle. Yeah. So, I mean, like, I'm quite impressed with the way Ravati is able to dig out the important case history and able to solve the problem. And also about, I mean, because as I told you, I've been traveling, I'm in my hotel room and not able to give you much of your time. But excellent case studies, and coming to Sandhya's case as well. 26 days out of 28 days bleeding and suffering like that, and innocently and ignorantly, and the way she is able to sort it out. So one thing as coaches that you should be should be questioning is, you use the same seed cycling for PCOS where there is no bleeding, and here when there is metorrhagia and because of fibroid, she uses the same thing. So is it the seed that is working, or is it the coach that is working or convincing the patient to talk to the body and to give a new kind of information through food? So that is the point to ponder, but both of you have done exceedingly well. And when time permits, I'll give it my thorough understanding and feedback on this. Thank you. Thank you for having me. And thank you very much, Jyoti ma'am, for taking up the responsibility of hosting today's session. And thank you.
So exactly that was the point I emphasized. Seed cycling did not work effectively. So it did not even last for 1 month or 1.5 months. So I stopped it from then and moved on to other intervention.
Thank you so much, sir, for the encouraging words. And now I'll play the.
Gayatri,
Just a moment.
Uh, should I
నేను
play because did the
No,
settings
no,
of the
no,
sound?
no, no,
Okay.
no, no. I'm playing it. Just
Yeah,
let me know whether the audio is okay.
It
yeah,
is
yeah. Please
audible.
do the honors.
Go on.
Yeah.
గైనిక్ ఇష్యూతో సఫర్ అవుతున్నాను. ఫార్చునేట్లీ ఐ మెట్ సంధ్య గారు. సంధ్య గారు అడ్వైస్ అండ్ లైఫ్ స్టైల్ అండ్ ద బ్యాలెన్స్ ఫుడ్ ఎలా మార్చుకోవాలో చెప్పారు. దానివల్ల నాకు ఈ పీరియడ్ అయితే 15 డేస్కి వచ్చేసేది ఒకేసారి. సో నేను అది చాలా తొందరగానే ప్రాబ్లమ్ సాల్వ్ చేసుకోగలిగాను. నాట్ ఓన్లీ దాట్, నాకు బీపీ ఇష్యూ కూడా ఉండింది. సో
I think the
తను
audio is little low.
మెడిటేషన్ ఎలా చేయాలి, ఏవి చేసుకోవాలి అవన్నీ చెప్పారు. సో నాకు ఇప్పుడైతే బీపీ కూడా లేదు. అండ్ ఈవెన్ మై హస్బెండ్ ఆల్సో, మహేష్ గారుకి గ్యాస్ట్రిక్ ఇష్యూ ఉంది. సో తను కూడా సంధ్య గారు డైట్ ప్లాన్ అది తీసుకొని లైఫ్ స్టైల్ చేంజ్ చేసుకొని గ్యాస్ట్రిక్ ఇష్యూ కూడా సాల్వ్ చేసుకున్నారు. ఐఎమ్ సో మచ్ థ్యాంక్ఫుల్ అండ్ గ్రేట్ఫుల్ టు సంధ్య గారు. షీ ఈజ్ లైక్ అవర్ ఫ్యామిలీ మెంబర్. థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్.
So that was from Sandhya's client. Yes. Yeah. So, do we have any questions? Are we still open for questions?
Thank you, Revati. Thank you.
Ma'am, actually no questions, but both are excellent and excellent case studies. I don't know whether it is a coincidence or something, but every week the case study presentations has a similarity from the beginning. The first one I missed, but the second one, which Manjunath and Rima had presented, the both case studies are different. One client is like suffering with obesity and he comes with for a weight loss thing. And there is another woman who comes, postpartum urinary incontinence. Yeah. So, but here the reason was the person has lost a very dear one, his mother. And the lady, she works in a care center and she also saw people, losing their life and all that. It was deeply affected. And coming to the last week, before last week, Jyoti ma'am and Kavita had also presented. It is also related to some musculoskeletal where both the girls were not able to express their full potential. And here in your case study as well, both of you, both the ladies are, single girl child and with so many brothers. And, they were somehow had their own challenges, but the story was same, right? Like Raji was asking this question. I hope this answers to her question as well. See, situations, whatever the story behind the story, right? It is a thing that is affecting and it can manifest in any way, right? But I saw the similarity from past 3 weeks. I don't know. Yeah. But
Thank
wonderful
you
case
so
study,
much.
ma'am. Sakshat, Sashtang Pranam to you. The kind of cases we never heard of. Such kind of, it all root back to the childhood thing. And uh, they are blessed actually to meet you guys. Yeah, God bless them. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Soumya.
Thank you so much,
Good
Soumya.
evening, ma'am.
I just want to share one part. So I asked Gayatri Garu to go and get the scan done to see whether the fibroids were shrunk or what is the status of that. So she went after a lot of push. She went because she never wanted to see a gynec again. But I pushed her to the extent that she forced herself to go and visit. She went, and doctor did some clinical examination. She did a TVS scan, and she told, "Where are the fibroids? Did you eat them?" So she was actually amazed to see, what
Wow.
did you do? Because the doctor was so aware that emotionally she was depressed. The doctor had that knowledge, but she could not do anything on that part except writing the pills. She understood. Your face seemed to be more, blossoming. You seem to be more blushing. I can see that grace in your face. So I think this is the one. This is the thing which made you know, get away from this problem. And she rejected to take the scan, the ultra scan. She did the TVS and the other clinical examination and said everything is normal. The main reason that she said that because she is getting 28-day cycle, and that is the main note that everything seems to be normal inside.
Yeah, I remember you talking about, I think this holistic one, last holistic one, they were supposed to come, it seems, right? Mahesh
So
Garu
the
and,
husband case I presented, no, the
yeah,
gastritis.
yeah, right.
Yeah, both of them they were supposed to come.
Yeah.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening,
Good
Malati.
evening, Malati.
Both the cases are very amazing, ma'am. Inspired and learned many, like from Sandhya ma'am's case, how our own thoughts subconsciously it affected our own body, and from Revati ma'am case, the childhood trauma, and the thing how you save the client to take the situation to differently, how you question client in a different way so that she can take out positive things from the bad situation. That I liked very much, ma'am. Both are
Yeah.
very inspiring, ma'am, and I learned too. Thank you so much, ma'am. Congratulations, ma'am.
Thank you, Malati. Thank you.
Thank you so
Good
much,
evening,
Malati.
ma'am. Congratulations.
Thanks,
Good
Plaksha.
evening.
After a long time, many everybody inspired, ma'am.
Not able to hear you, Gulabsha.
Always,
Hello. Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Better,
clear.
better.
Really inspired, ma'am. And I mean, mm, a bit signal issue, ma'am. I'll connect once again.
Sure.
Sure.
So,
So,
Sandhya, I wanted to ask you one question. Sorry, Jyoti,
Yes,
just
yes.
one
Go
please,
question.
ahead.
I
no,
mean,
no.
it's not a question. Sandhya, by chance, are you trying for Guinness World Record?
What?
Are you trying for Guinness World Record?
Touch wood. Why not? Why not?
I remember you were the one who were taking history for 4.5 hours, right? But 3 years back.
Correct.
So,
Now she herself broke the record. Now she has made it to 8 to 10 hours of
no,
history taking.
actually, the first day was not about history taking. It was just understanding each other's
That
comfort
is,
zone. But
for me, it
in
is
that,
history.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can partly say it as history only because she opened up. She thought, okay, I am the safe person to reveal everything that nothing crosses me to her husband. And she was, I made, I assured that I am not judgmental and I will not cross information. And if I do so, the process of healing gets affected. That is a first principle I was being taught by our mentor. I assured her if I cross or if I don't follow the confidential rules, the process will get effect. And that assured her, and she opened up. And one point, when she was doing affirmation, the one thing which really affected was chanting the mantras of Gayatri mantra also, because and Lalita Sahasranamam. I didn't mention it, I forgot though. This also affected her a lot because way back in her before her marriage, she used to chant it and do it very regularly on a day-to-day basis, and then go to the college. Of late, she got detached with that because of her masculine happiness and her adventurous things, and she again restored that connectivity with the female gods and chanting the mantras, and that also helped her feel safe and secure in her periods days. Now she feel very happy. She eagerly waits because that fear of bleeding, the fear of wearing these pads, going and being comfort, everything she overcome. She overcame that, and she is making sure that she enjoys her periods equally as she enjoys the other things also. Because I told her one thing, as you also mentioned, if she rejected this femininity, she would have faced a lot of problems in her pregnancy. But God has been kind. She didn't had any complications, no precious pregnancy. So that point I told her, though you rejected your body did not take any revenge. It blessed you with two beautiful babies, which is the main essence of being taking a feminine birth, having reproducing. So that point she convinced, and yes, she started doing all the things.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you for everybody who has shared your appreciations. And if you have no more questions, it's time to wind up the session. Do
I
we have
want
any?
to ask Revati. Revati, you told one point she was not able to swallow the food, and the food was in the food pipe. Okay. So where is the point of constipation coming?
Constipation, she came to me with this primary complaint, but constipation was there since 33 years. She was having, when I was inquiring about the bowel movement, why? Because the
Okay.
food was not entering. So
Hmm.
she said like she was not eating much vegetables, right? She was very much struggling to first of all put something inside. Only then the
Hmm.
bowel movement will happen. So out of that, I just asked her, how's your bowel? Then she
Okay.
came, then she started telling that my bowel movement is completely dependent on enema. I guess, yes,
Raji,
yes,
do you have
Padmaja.
any questions?
No, I
No,
do
I
not
have
have any.
appreciation.
Yes, Padmaja.
So both are wonderful, wonderful cases. Really surprised to hear even such kind of diseases and all exist. And we are first of all, it's a shock that such kind of diseases and things exist. And we have recovered people through such is an even more bigger surprise and pleasant. I'm running out of words, but yeah, that is what I feel.
Thank you, dear. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Padmaja.
The more
Ma'am,
love,
ma'am,
transformation.
mm,
Yes, go on, Gulabsha.
ma'am, can I talk to Revati, ma'am?
Yes,
Yes,
Ma'am, is
Gulabcha.
she able to eat well now, ma'am? Is she
Yeah,
able
yeah,
to eat better?
she is
Um,
able to eat better. Now I have made everything like soft solid. Now she is able to, she has even improved from soft solid to little regular diet. Very
has
importantly,
you,
she's not using any liquids now. She is able to,
okay.
you know,
She
the
stopped
food is
enema
entering.
also, ma'am.
No,
Enema
no,
also
she's,
she's no.
no, no, no,
Okay.
no. She's still on enema.
She's a old age old, no, ma'am. So and
No, no, that will be reverse. I still need still more sessions. So I'll definitely
yes,
come
ma'am.
back
You were
with
mentioning about these more sessions.
yes, the sessions are still pending. Yeah,
Yes.
see, it is a 60 years of memory to the
Ma'am.
body, and
yes,
it
Yeah,
correct.
takes
ma'am.
good enough time to restore back to the functionality.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thanks for the question, club. Yes, Raji.
Yes, ma'am. Nice presentation. And before coming to this nutrition field, I thought when food is good and we need not to go to a doctor. But after entering this HNTP, I came to know that food is not only the thing a person um, will become proper or good enough. Apart from food, food is a 25 percentage thing here. More than that, there is much more here. So I'm very proud to be in this community, and I love all your work. So I'm in a learning phase. So I learn more such things with you all. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Raji, Nancy.
Thank you so much.
So, yeah, with the closure of two wonderful case study presentations, we'll catch you all next week with another two interesting case studies. Stay tuned. We'll provide you the details very soon. Till then, take care. Good evening, everybody, and take care.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
ma'am.
Jyoti.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Sir,
Yes,
This time make sure that the message goes out in advance, not on the day.
sure.